Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. Welcome back to another edition of the show where tonight it's all things killer dolls. Yes, ladies and gents, we have 3 killer doll films, and we do have some regrets on Grande's Graveyard here tonight. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna start now. Because there's not all these many great movies on the show, but there is one. There's one that I consider to be a really good movie. We'll get into all the good, the bad, and of course the goddamn ugly of all things killer dolls here tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. So I'm very happy to be back here with you, if I can fucking speak properly, talking all things killer dolls this week on Grande's Graveyard. It's very exciting. We have 3 movies, of course. The first one being from the year 1986, of course, directed by the late great Stuart Gordon. Dolls, of course, from 1989, arguably the biggest full moon movie of all time, a movie that has spawned 14 sequels and 15 films in its franchise, none other than the Puppet Master series. And then lastly, and spoiler alert, leastly, from the year 1992, of course, it is Dolly Dearest. Yes, or I'm sorry, 1991, Dolly Dearest. So we'll be talking about those 3 movies here tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. So I'm very excited to have you all in the house. Of course, we have Miss C here. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardian friends. I'm ready to play with some dolls tonight. Yes, I'm ready to play. I know you actually watched all 3 movies in preparation for this, and you send me your little mini reviews. So I do appreciate that. I know that you actually were a fan of Dolly Dearest. So fans of Dolly Dearest, stay tuned to the end, because holy shit. Going to be a fun show. Ghostface Brett is in the Heezy. What's going on, Brett? Hope all is well with you. What up, Graveyard fam? Let's get into some killer dolls. Hey, I'm with it, Merns. Mernsy's Movie Mansion is in the house. Triple H is here. Hey, Grande. Hey, Missy. Hey, Brett. Hey, Mernsy's Movie Mansion. Hope you're all doing well. Well, we hope you're all doing well too, Triple H. Hope all is going on and well. Matt Landrum is in the house. Grande Landrum. What's going on, good brother? As that is an awesome pro pick of you and the youngin, the second coming of Landrums are making the zombie run here. That's some Peter and Roger shit right there. I love it. Slasher Fred is in the house. What makes these movies so very scary is how you have these toys who take on a life of their own. Slasher Fred, I mean, you couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. That is absolutely a big reason what draws me to a killer doll movie. And now, of course, I know we've talked about the Child's Play movies. We did a whole episode reviewing the entire franchise of Child's Play movies. So I was like, let's scale back. Let's talk about ones that I haven't ever really discussed on this show. And that's why I kind of targeted this era, like the late 80s bleeding over into the early 1990s, right? Because one of these movies predates A Child's Play, which comes out in 88. 2 of these movies, of course, come on after. And, of course, Dolly Dearest's case is an exact rip-off, knockoff, whatever you want to say, of course, Child's Play. And we'll get into that. We'll be into all things knockoffs next week, too, when we talk all things Last House on the Left knocks. So I'm very excited about that as well. Grande, we might be fighting over Dolly Dearest. I will fight to the death. Dolly Dearest kicked me in the fucking balls this week, as far as I'm concerned. I have not seen any of these 3. Guess I will see which ones are worth watching. Well, without further ado, I don't think there's a better way to transition into the first film of the evening than that. So thank you, Triple H. Cheers, everybody. I drank my dew. My dew is gone. So sorry. Cheers. Cheers, though. Cheers. Pretty sure they're all on Tubi, too. Yes, they are all free to watch. They're all on. I think they are all on Tubi. Dolly Dearest might be on YouTube. I think I watched YouTube of Dolly Dearest. So yeah, that one might not be streaming anywhere. But other than that, hello, I want to see this live, but it's daytime where I am, and I have so much to do. Dolly Dearest, there's one with a ventriloquist dummy too. Aaron, thank you so much. I guess you're in a different time zone, so cheers from your different time zone, my friend. Hope all is well with you, and hopefully you can catch the replay where we talk all things killer dolls here tonight, only on the Graveyard. Let's dive in, though. Let's jump in to the movie of these 3 that I think is without a doubt the best, and from a filmmaker that I've always loved and I've always felt that was super underrated. And I always loved that he was included. And if you love the song, the George Romero song from the Sprites, you do hear quite a few names mentioned. You hear Sam Raimi, you hear George Romero, you hear Savini, and you also hear this man, Stuart Gordon, the late great Stuart Gordon. This was his sophomorial effort, as opposed to popular belief, of course, to his original film. His debut was Reanimator in 1985. And of course, this was the movie he made second. And I know a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, From Beyond came second, Grande. You're wrong about that. The movie he filmed second was this one right here. I'm sorry, was Dolls, was this movie that we're going to talk about right here. But what happened was Dolls took so long in the post-production stage and with the special makeup effects and the things, the animatronics and things like that, the special effects added in later with the Dolls, that the movie got postponed. And of course, he made From Beyond in the meantime. And that movie went through all three stages of filming and then post-production and then comes out. So this was really the sophomorial effort here. And he teamed up again with, of course, producer Charles Band, who we're going to be mentioning quite a bit here tonight. Charles Band's involved in two of these movies. This was before the Full Moon days, though. This is back when it was EIP, Empire International Pictures. And this is where he and Stuart Gordon met, was with this movie, Reanimator. And they liked working together. He was really open with Stuart Gordon and said, hey, man, I would love to work with you again. Reanimator was such a fun time, made some money. I'd be willing to follow you anywhere. And basically what happened was, he said, okay, like Stuart Gordon said, okay, like, so they all sat in a room. It was he, Charles Band, the writer, Ed Naha, and then, of course, Brian Yusna. The four of them were sitting in a room and they were talking about ideas of what Stuart Gordon could do for his next picture. And, of course, it was Ed Naha and Brian Yusna that came up with the idea of, let's do a Killer Dolls film. And they came up with the idea of the poster first, which I always thought was the coolest thing ever. With a lot of Full Moon or Empire International Picture movies, they came up with the idea of the poster first, right? Of course, if you're a fan of Castle Freak, that's a movie that the poster was created before the movie was even written. And this is a similar thing with Dolls, both directed by Stuart Gordon, produced by the Bands. Kind of cool little fun facts. Of course, Stuart Gordon did cast this all from his little Chicago theater that he, of course, owned himself. He casted all of these actors. It's a very small cast of just 8 people, but he got to work with these people. And of course, the movie I'm talking to you guys here tonight is Dolls. Yes, Dolls from 1986. We have a brief plot synopsis. A dysfunctional family of 3 stop by a mansion during a storm. Father, stepmother, and child. The child discovers that the elderly owners are magical toy makers and have a haunted collection of killer dolls. They walk, they talk, and they kill, by God. Yes, because tonight on Grande's Graveyard, it's Dolls. I think this is a great movie. I really love this thing. And I know that at the time of its release, it kind of garnered a turn the other cheek-esque reaction. It's a movie that over time has garnered a little bit of a cult following, but when it was released in the 1980s, from what I understood from reviews I've read from that time period, it was a very lukewarm reception. And a lot of the reviews that I could read, that I could gather, it seemed like the main idea was, well, this wasn't as crazy as Reanimator. Well, this wasn't as energetic, fun, and violent and gory as something like From Beyond. So I think what happened was, at the time, a lot of people considered Stuart Gordon, okay, you make this type of movie, Reanimator and From Beyond, and they expected that type of energy, that type of craziness with a movie like Dolls, and that's not really what Dolls is. Dolls really scales it back. Dolls scales it down, right? Dials down the volume a little bit for a Stuart Gordon movie. And it's very, very slow burn, I think, in a good way. And it's also a movie that before the credits roll is barely 75 minutes long. This is one of the quickest movies you will ever watch. So it's very quick. If you don't even enjoy it, I mean, you're only burning 75 minutes of your time. So it's really not a big time investment. So I do recommend it for that. Of course, it does tell the story of the 3, like the brief plot synopsis says. Of course, one of them is, of course, Stuart Gordon's, in real life, his wife, Carolyn Purdy Gordon, who is actually still with us. Of course, her husband, played by Ian Patrick Williams, and then the little girl, played by Carrie Lorraine. They are these awful, evil parents who don't want any part of her. She, of course, the kid has her actual mom. She's back in Boston. She's kind of crying, complaining and stuff. And it's a dark, stormy night as they're driving along the road. Their car breaks down and they stumble across this little mansion where it's owned by this old couple, of course, played by the legendary Guy Rolfe, who I just thought was the perfect casting choice, especially if you know Guy Rolfe's other, film credits. And then, of course, Hilary Mason plays his wife. And they, I thought, were the perfect casting choices for this movie. They have this really vibrant white hair and this creep element to them, but they don't overdo it. They just seem very off. And I loved that about this couple. This couple really worked. You really bought them as husband and wife as they welcome this family of dysfunctional 3 into their home. They're having dinner. And then, of course, who would show up but Stephen Lee, the late Stephen Lee. May he rest in peace. I know he died prematurely, I think, in his 50s due to a heart attack, which always makes me sad. Stephen Lee is a guy that, like, I just always thought was the greatest. Like, I just love his energy. I always wish he got more roles. I thought he had just a good energy to him. And this was the perfect role for him because he really gave off the aura of a big kid, right? Someone who's young at heart. And that's really what his character is. He's an adult, but he's young at heart. And of course, he brings along with him these two British punk rock girls that are also thieves. And our colorful cast of characters enter this mansion, and one by one, they are victimized by these dolls, one by one. And it's a dark, stormy night, the longest night ever, as the little kid says. I just have a blast with this movie. I thought Stuart Gordon made a really fun, entertaining, and the mansion itself is just such a gorgeous. I think the set is incredible. It's a smaller film, but he somehow, again, Stuart made it feel grand, and that's why I really like Dolls. There's a lot of fun sequences in this. You have, of course, the two punk rock girls. They're trying to rob the house. So one's blasting the radio, dancing, and she goes, all right, I'm going to go in the other room. I'm going to start robbing stuff. And then, of course, what happens to her, she gets attacked by these things, and these dolls proceed to pick her up and ram her head into the wall, and to the point where you just see all this fucking crazy gore and stuff. Her head gets bashed in. It's absolutely insanity. And there is where, of course, we do get play of this classic poster, right? We have this classic poster of the two eyes being taken out of the doll's head, and you're showing it. And then, of course, the little skeleton teeth there on the side. I love that. I think that's a great poster. And of course, they do have that in the movie. And I did it for the thumbnail of this video, where it's the punk rock chick taking out her own eyes, showing, here's my eyes. I thought that was a really cool visual. The other one, she gets attacked by the soldier boys. Come on, soldier boys. She's whipping around her fucking belt. Come on, soldier boys. I'll kill you all. And they fucking start playing the drums and ragging up the guns. They start shooting her. You get these practical blood squibs coming at this lady. I mean, really fun. Like, just a creative movie to me. Like, I always thought Stuart Gordon made magic with this movie. Now, the writer was somebody who was very inexperienced, did not go on to do all that much. I know they did go on to work on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids together. They worked on that screenplay together. But other than that, Ed Naha really did not do all that much of note for me. I mean, I looked over his filmography. I was not the most impressed in the world. But I do think that he and Stuart did good work here. And I think that the whole overlying message and theme of this movie, of course, is the horrors of growing up. And I think that in a movie where dolls are the antagonists, the adults are even bigger antagonists, right? You have these two, this father, stepmother, he's marrying her for the money. She doesn't seem interested in the kid. He hates the kid. They see her as a drag. And to me, the whole psychology of it is, it's like you have these people that have everything, but they still don't want this girl. And it's really sad. And you see the unloved child, of course, crying out for help. And if you find refuge in a doll, you'll find refuge in a teddy bear. You'll find refuge in all of these other things, because the horrors of being unloved are just that much darker, and it's I think a really good message in this particular movie. And I thought they delivered that pretty well. And of course, the perfect tag team partner in that is Stephen Lee's character, who's this big guy. He's wild at heart. He gets kind of brought into there. And I don't know, I really liked that. I really liked his relationship with the little kid and how he kind of shows her the attention that her parents do not. They at points start accusing him. Hey, what are you doing with my kid? Stay away from her. All these horrible things. And Stephen's like, no, I'm not doing anything like that. She has blood on her slippers. Like, something's going on in this house. I love that. I thought Stephen Lee was just this great, like, really innocent guy. The look of the dolls themselves, I really quite liked. They had these clay, of course, they're like a normal doll, but if they get cracked or punched or smacked, they have these skeletal interiors, which I thought was fucking horrifying, to be honest. And that was all Stuart Gordon's idea, because the initial idea from the producers was, well, we'll save money, right? He was like, my God, you're fucking Charles Band. You're always saving money. Let's fucking actually spend the money here, and we'll do this, So they did the actual skeletal, endoskeletons, if you will, underneath. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that effect aged really, really well, like a fine wine, almost 40 years later. And I still think that skeletal effect underneath worked pretty good. There's a mix of animatronics, stop motion, puppeteering, marionetting, anything you want to say. It's all done in this movie. Like, to me, when I think of filmmaking, when I think of a movie that uses every trick in the book, Dolls is one of those movies that does that, right? I think the whole idea of, it took a year in post-production, it was delayed all this time, blah, blah, blah. sometimes you got to spend the time, you got to spend the money to get it right. And when you're doing something like this, I love that this was the pre-CGI days, because now it would have just all been typed in with a computer, where instead you see the heart and soul that goes into making movies like this. Like, I know Mearns is a big fan of the Frankie Frico, and like I think that's the coolest thing in the world, that they're not spending all this CGI money to try to get a movie over about a puppet. Like no, let a puppet be a puppet, right? Like, we come from the world of Jim Henson and Fraggle Rock. Why the hell were you going to do all this CGI nonsense? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think Stuart was good to put his foot down there and tell the bands, listen, no, we're going to do this right. Like, I don't care how long it takes, we'll get it right. And that, I think, was the smartest way to go about it. It's a fun movie. It really is. Dolls is fun. It's short. It's sweet. It just has a little bit of everything. It has a nice heart. It has the violence when it needs to be there. I think that the direction from Stuart Gordon is quite good. I know a lot of people say the movie was soft, for lack of a better term. The movie isn't as crazy or wild or out of control as a Reanimator or From Beyond prior, but I think at the end of the day, Dolls was just a horse of a different color for his filmography, and it's one of my favorite Stuart Gordon movies. I really, really enjoy Dolls. But let's get to the comments. I've been neglecting y'all for far too long. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this one. I believe we were here. Okay, cool. Thanks for the info, everyone. Now I know where to look. There you go. CWO. Sean is in the house. What's going on, Sean Blue? How you doing, buddy? By the way, I'm up to 2009 in the memoirs. Anthony Chobot does pop cultures and openings. Welcome, my friend. Miss Heather, I'll send you a link for Dolly Dearest. Oh, we got Dolly Dearest. Some people dap each other up for drugs. In Grande's Graveyard, we dap each other up for fucking Dolly Dearest links right there. That's an exchange, if you will. Don't you call 911 on me. Captain Skittles, OMG, I love this movie. I watched it 2 years ago along with The Prowler. It's an interesting double feature from Captain Skittles. What's going on, Captain Skittles? Oh, Captain, my Captain. Dolls is so underrated, and I love how this movie reminds you of where you came from with the love of toys, dolls, and puppets when we were kids. That's a great point. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, my generation, Toys R Us was still around. I went to Toys R Us when I was a kid a lot. I remember I had the Spider-Man with the magnetic hands that you could have. It would climb the refrigerator or any metal surface. It would climb it. I loved that. I remember getting the web shoot. I was a Spider-Man fanatic, man. I had every toy, action figures, Star Wars, you name it. I had everything. I just loved going to the toy store as a kid. And now it's like, with Toys R Us being out of business, at least most of them are. I don't know if there's still toys. If anyone knows of Toys R Us's that are still around, by all means, share it. But I haven't seen a toy store in a long time. And it's quite disheartening, because I think it's just a great platform. It's a great escape. It's, if your kids are not playing outside, that's one thing. But like, if they're stuck to their iPad all the fucking time, I actually think it's healthier for them to be playing with something like dolls or action figures, what have you. I think that's a better alternative for me, right? Because it's like, okay, I always liked video games. I always loved playing outside, but I also liked my action figure time too when I was a kid. So I totally agree with you. It does. I think that's the point of the movie too. It's the horrors of growing up. I think that's a big psychology look at it, because of course you see the parents, how they've turned, and you see also in turn how these beautiful young British robbers have turned, right? Here's these 20 somethings, beautiful, should be out enjoying their lives, learning the world, getting jobs, then enjoying themselves on the weekend. Instead, they've resorted to a world of crime. They've resorted to a world of mooching and leeching. And where does that get you? It doesn't get you anywhere. Here are people that are afraid to actually grow up, But of course, you got to keep that part of your heart of the child alive, and that's why Stephen Lee's character rises above all, I think. And it's a nice little message. It's very subtly in there as well. The original Pinocchio, even though it's a children's movie, has some pretty dark moments, mostly the scene where the sly fox and cat want to exploit the living puppet. Well, yeah, Pinocchio it's a movie they've done to death, really, by this point. Rewatch it today. It's quite fun, buddy. I like how the dolls' real faces are decayed. Dude, yes, I liked that too. I thought even all these years later, they looked so good. And I thought it was funny in reading for show prep, the bands fought Stuart Gordon on that. They were like, no, we'll just have it be hollow. Like, why the fuck would we spend the money to make these tiny? He was like, because that's what I want to do. Like, it was a whole thing, and thankfully they were buddies and they worked together pretty much throughout, right? I mean, Stuart Gordon worked with them again with The Pit and the Pendulum. He works with them again with I believe, Castle Freak. I mean, he works with the bands quite a bit, even from one company to another, right? This was Empire International Pictures. Those two I just mentioned were, of course, Full Moon by that point. So he went from company to company with them. The bands and Stuart Gordon, thankfully, were close. Mateo is here. Ciao, Grande. More creepy ventriloquist dummies or dolls. Hi to all the Graveyardians. Dolls is not bad at all. I agree. I don't think it's a bad one at all. I know you're saying dummies or dolls. The Puppet Master, to me, it's a doll. It's a killer doll film. Killer puppets, whatever. It's in the same family to me. I don't know. It's all in the family. God damn it. Where's Archie Bunker? Can't stick around. Have a good weekend, Grande, and everyone. Thank you, Sean. I hope you catch the replay, man, because I do know you love dolls. And cool enough. And I know I talked with Sean about this. We saw Dolls about a year ago, I want to say. Over the summer, we saw it on 35 millimeter. They screened it a part of an all-night horror movie marathon. It was, oh boy, memory. Is memory going to serve me here? It was it was Dolls. It was, oh my God, Fright Night. It was with Charlie Sheen. I can't fucking think of the name of it. It was Charlie Sheen and Sherilyn Fenn. And it's like the killer car guy. I can't fucking think of the name of it. And I think City of Living Dead might have been the last movie. It was a weird marathon, but it was a really fun night. And Dolls was right in the middle of it. And it was really cool to see that with a crowd. This movie sounds like the dark side of Toy Story. That movie also has some pretty dark moments. Yeah, no, hey, this idea around this time was just running wild. I mean, everybody was trying to come around the pike and make a killer doll movie. That's why I really zero in on this era, because this is when it was booming. This is when everybody and their fucking grandpa were trying to make a killer doll movie. The horrors of growing up, going in deep, Grande, very insightful. Thank you, Mr. Landrum. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Alpha is in the house. What's up, everybody? Alpha, the alpha of all Romeros. Hey, man. This guy's famous now. Greg Nicotero shouted out Alpha Romero, and it was actually because of a video Matt Landrum was recording. So that's the ultimate tag team right there. Alpha, hope all is well with you, buddy. I just realized is there fucking really? I did not see any of that in my show prep. When did the remake come out? Hey, Alpha, or even the classic Sinbad movies, which were done by Ray Harryhausen. Okay. When I think of filmmaking, I think of Dolls. Grande. We have to put that up or something, or put that on my tombstone or something. It's like, here lies John Grande. When I think of filmmaking, I think of all caps Dolls. CGI is starting to get really annoying. Makeup, animatronics, practical effects. I agree. And like, to me, that is why I love movies. Like, I like the filmmaking aspect of it. Hey, here we go. Filmmaking. I like filmmaking. I don't know. I think it goes hand in hand, my friend. Put that shit on the poster. Do it. Let's do it. Dolls is a good one for a one-time watch. I can't imagine watching it more than once, though. Why? I'm curious why. I got to know why. Hello and thanks. Sorry to be tardy, Grande. Stacy, welcome, my friend. Hope all's well with you. We got Matt June in the house. Grande, what's going on? Me and Miss Heather have similar taste, and we watch a lot of shitty movies together. Well, that's got to be fun. I see toys stores everywhere, but they're for people our age. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. They have all the, they're still in the box. I never got that. If I'm buying a toy, I'm taking it out of the box. Like, but I guess that's, yeah, you know, the older people. Well, not that much older, but yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, not for kids, basically. What is your favorite doll head turn in a movie of this kind? You know, when the doll turns the head creepily. The Boy had a good one, and also the other movies. Which is your favorite doll head turn? Wow, that's an interesting question. You know, I would say Child's Play with the "Hi, I'm Chucky, wanna play?" That always got me. I mean, that is the best doll head turn ever. The 180. Trenchy's in the house. What's going on, Bradley? Hope all is well with you, buddy. Me, Miss Heather, one of only one who watched. Okay, Dolls. To me, is the perfect haunted house film that isn't a haunted house film. That's a great way to put it as well. Are dolls inherently scary? I think so, yes. Like, there's always the murmurs of a doll, right? Like, can that doll hear us? Do you think that doll can move? Like, there always is the murmurs of a killer. So I would say inherently, yes, they are scary. And listen, I mean, you think about it, it's been around since the beginning of time. Like look at all of the fucking, I mean, I always think back to, some people point to a certain anthology film. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about, but I always think back to the anthology episode of The Twilight Zone, not just Talkie Tina, but the one with Cliff Roberts and the Dummy. That was a fucking horrifying look at a doll and how a doll can take over your life and how a doll can literally do the old switcheroo with you by the end. Dolls are inherently scary. Absolutely. Are we discussing Skull? Dude, that is, wow. That's one I grew up with. I used to rent the VHS of that from the 48-hour video store. That was back when I was in my grandmother's house in PA. So I was in PA, but it was like a retirement center. And I used to rent Small Soldiers. I remember Kirsten Dunst. I think that's a Joe Dante joint. I haven't seen that probably since the early 2000s, and I think it came out like the late 90s. I love Small Soldiers. That's a good blast from the past, my friend. I love that movie. Next time I see you, man, we might have to talk some Small Soldiers. Or is the atmosphere and other stuff in the room, the antique stuff that makes them scary? No, I think it's the dolls themselves. I would say the dolls used to have a lot of Small Soldier. Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. There's an episode of R.L. Stine's TV series Haunting Hour, which has the vicious doll. Of course, there's Slappy, which is another Goosebumps thing. There's Talkie Tina in the Twilight Zone. There's Chucky. There's the puppets that we'll talk about in Puppet Master. I mean, this subject has been pretty booming. I mean, it's not, it really, I guess everything like everything else, it has its down eras, right? But it also has its peaks. And man, the peaks go pretty far. We got Dr. Howdy 666, good brother Grande. What's going on, Will? Hope all is well with you, buddy. YouTube famous. Oh, kidding. Seriously though, congrats to Alpha. Absolutely, congrats, Alpha. Mernsey actually had no Small Soldiers. He's is he lying? Well, the thing is, Mernsey would have been what? How fucking old by the time that movie came out? It would have made sense, right? Mernsey probably would have been like 10 years old. I bet you Mernsey had all the Gorgonauts. Wasn't that what they were called? Am I right? Is it the Gorgonauts? I like how this is a fairy tale and still a little bloody, but has the charm and heart. Exactly. That, and I think only Stuart could have did that. I think a lot of people would have went one way or the other. A lot of people would have went, let's do this a fairy tale. Let's keep it classy. Let's not throw any blood in this. And I think let's go for the gore. There's usually it's one or the other. It's a bipolar mentality where Stuart brought both, mixed them together, and didn't oversaturate with one or the other. Whereas I do think that's what people wanted at the time. People that saw this movie, people that saw From Beyond, they wanted gore. I think that's what they expected. They expected a doll movie with a ton of gore and craziness, and that's not what it is. You're right. It's a fairy tale. It's a lot more subtle than those first two pictures. So I get that for sure. I think he's talking about dildos, Grande. Oh, is he? Is he fucking talking about dildos? Are you fucking serious? I thought you were talking about Small Soldiers with Kirsten Dunst. Am I fucking... I fucking know. I just feel like dolls, the storytelling is too old-fashioned for me. Okay. Hey, Grande, have you seen the movie Mad God? That movie has some stop-motion effects. I have not, but I've been wanting to. I did see Stop Motion, which came out in 2024. That was my favorite horror movie of the whole year. I thought that was a fucking great movie. Absolutely adored it. And that is, to me, what horror should be right now. So I highly recommend people see Stop Motion. We got Russ. Russ is in the house. Horror and Metal Maestro, Red Rusty 66. Karen Black and the Zuni Fetish Doll. Best doll nightmare ever. Well, can't beat that. I mean, Karen Black and Trilogy of Terror is fucking great. And I love the sequel, Trilogy of Terror, too. Have you seen the sequel, Rusty? I'm curious. Small Soldier's a classic. I agree. I would agree with that. It is a classic. For me, it is. That's a movie I just haven't thought about in a while. Grande, I got my Shamrock Shake, so you know I'm ready for some killer doll talk, LMAO. Doll's a solid one, though. I remember seeing it years and years ago. It's really good, and I like all around, just a really, really solid film. I messaged you a couple of days ago. I had a question for you. Nothing super important, but if you get a chance, take a look at it. Okay. Is the movie with Sheen yes, it is. It was the Wraith. That's right. The Wraith with Charlie Sheen. That was the first movie shown, and it was The Wraith. It was Fright Night. It was Dolls, and then I believe it was City Living Dead. Those were the four they showed, and a weird four, but we had a fun ass night, man. It was a fun night at the theater. I think it's the uncanny valley and the fact that they're close to children that add to the doll and puppet creep factor. Okay, yeah, it's the idea of it's for a child, right? And then what if this turns sinister? Holy shit, my child's in trouble. Is this the dolls in the Enter the Video Store Empire of Dreams Arrow Blu-ray box set? No, I don't think so. Welcome, though, Kubrick lover. Hope all is well, buddy. People commenting. Is the Wes Craven robot one a doll movie or a robot reboot? I'm not sure. I think so. I think you're referring to Deadly Friend. That's about a killer robot. The Christy Swanson one with the fucking basketball that gets thrown at Anne Heche. That's a really funny fucking scene. But coming full circle on Dolls, because I just want to get to the comments before we wrapped Dolls. I really like it. It seems like the movie has garnered a little bit of a cult following. Now, I couldn't really make heads or tails of its actual release date. I found like 5 different actual release dates, so I don't fucking know. IMDb says 1986. Other than one film festival, I don't see that it played anywhere in 1986. And I know it was shot in 1986 and took a year to go and post. So it doesn't make any sense that it was anywhere finished, complete the way we know it today in 1986 to me. Unless it was like December of 86. I don't know. Then there's like 4 different release dates in 1987. I have no idea how big of a wide, theatrical release that this got. I don't know how it did at the box office. It's a movie that's kind of a big question mark because no one seems to know when exactly it got its widest release and what it made when it had widest said release. I'm not sure about that part of it. And usually I like those X's and O's, but I could not find it for the life of me. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I totally really enjoy Dolls. Like, I think Dolls is absolutely awesome little movie. I think it has a lot of heart, like Trench was saying. I think Stephen Lee does a really good job in the movie. The whole finale where the father gets turned into a fucking, like, that whole effect I thought was great. The whole teddy bear, like, doll thing, really cool. And then the fact that they're all dolls sitting on the fucking counter at the end, and they did these little doll replicas of all the victims. I thought that was clever as well, as they kind of drive off into happiness. You get the idea that maybe Stephen Lee is going to get with this little girl's mom. I thought that was sweet. I thought that was nice. Now, I know for the longest time, Stuart Gordon wanted to do a sequel. They had the sequel. They had drafts of the script written. It was going to be that indeed Stephen Lee got with her mom. They got married. They moved to Boston. And then someone was going to mail them 2 dolls, and it was going to be, of course, Guy Rolfe's character and his wife, and they were going to be little dolls. And then, of course, they were, I guess, going to start causing havoc and mayhem and all that stuff. So that's, I guess, a movie that I would have liked to see. I mean, hey, in a world where we have 14 Puppet Master sequels, 15 total, I mean, fuck, I would love to see a sequel to Dolls. I would have loved this to be a trilogy, but it's a good standalone. It's a really, really short film, and I think it's really solid. So Dolls, I would say it's a little bit above average. I would say it's like a 7.5 out of 10. I really like Dolls. I think it has a nice heart to it. And when I think Stuart Gordon movies that I really, really love, Dolls is one that comes to mind. So really, really like this movie. Highly recommend you guys check out Dolls. Let's go back to the comments really quickly. Is that it is in that box? Okay, so I was wrong. I have not seen said box set. That is interesting. If anyone wants to comment down below, let me know the movies that were in that box set, because I've never heard of it. Anne Ramsey, she's known for her roles in Mama and the Goonies and Don't Throw Mama from the Train, of course. It says 88, I think, Grande, the Dolls movie I have. So it's funny. IMDb says 86. Every release date that I can make heads or sense of was 87. Your DVD says 88. So it's really, I don't know. I really don't know. There's no, you would have to basically ask Charles Band, and I bet you, being a part of 400 fucking movies, he's not going to remember. At least I wouldn't think. We got Eli Cortez in the house. What's going on, Eli? Hope all is well with you. People saying hi to Eli. Sup, Kubrick. Digged the movie. It was pretty good. Followers home video. What's going on, buddy? Hope all is well with you. Yes, there's Stuart Gordon in the case. Okay. I'd have Dolls high on my killer doll movie list. Really love that film. I'm right there with you. I really like it too. Cellar Dweller, Dungeon Masters, Dolls, and some robot one. Okay, so that makes sense because Cellar Dweller was also produced by Band. Dungeon Masters, I don't know. And then whatever the robot one is, I don't know. Dolls is awesome. I completely agree. I think it's a really good movie. Have you seen Pinocchio's Revenge? Yes, I have seen Pinocchio's Revenge. Pinocchio. Wow, that's I want to say mid-90s. That was Pinocchio's Revenge. That is, wow. That is not what I expected to be brought up here tonight, but very cool. Very cool indeed. Speaking of very cool indeed, let's get on to one that, of course, Charles Band was also involved in, which came out, of course, a couple of years down the road. This is back when, of course, Empire International Pictures goes out of business, and Charles Band says, fuck it, let's pick up my ball and let's birth the company, I should say, known as Full Moon. And Full Moon, of course, has, to this day, it's still producing movies. I mean, it's absolutely wild, but if you wanted to look at the movie that really built Full Moon. The movie that started it all, the movie that created the biggest franchise that Full Moon has. You look no further than this movie here from the year 1989. This is The Puppet Master. Yes, The Puppet Master. I don't know why the poster's not loading in. There it is. There's The Puppet Master. I don't know why it wasn't loading in. It was like delayed and I was left off to dry. Sorry, y'all. I had a bad cough coming, but we have a brief plot synopsis coming as well. After being contacted by their mysterious former colleague, 4 psychics arrive at a secluded hotel where they are stalked by a group of murderous puppets. Yes, but what? Oh, master of puppets. Come on, we got to play some Metallica in this son of a bitch, man. We got to play some Metallica. Dungeon Master is great. Dolly Dearest is killer as well. That's the last movie we're reviewing here tonight on the Grande's Graveyard, so stay tuned for that. Bring on Puppet Master. Bring him on. I got that box that's gorgeous. Okay. Of course, every time I think Full Moon, I just think Puppet Master. Yeah, exactly. That's the movie that really I synonymized that company with. Of course, Puppet Master 4 is amazing. Yeah, we'll get into I like the first 4 or 5 Puppet Masters for sure. But this one is the one that started it all. Of course, in the year 1989, they got director David Schmoller, who never would direct a full Puppet Master on his own again. Now, I know he came back and did a couple of scenes for one of the Puppet Master sequels down the road, but this was the one and only for most of his career. And I'm not really familiar with a lot of his other movies, so it was a weird choice to get as a director. I mean, somebody like Stuart Gordon would have been much preferred, or even at this time, Peter Jackson was coming around the bend. I mean, that would have been really cool if they could have maybe got somebody like him. But it is what it is. The thing with the first Puppet Master that I always thought was really interesting was the fact that it's really much more focused on the master as opposed to the puppets. Now, when you get to the sequels, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are far more about the puppets and they get more screen time and they get more time to shine. And that's the whole beauty of the sequels. That's why Puppet Masters 2 through 5 are probably a lot more enticing and easier on the eyes when you're going to watch a killer doll movie. When you're going to watch a killer doll movie, the first Puppet Master, they're limited. I've never calculated this or timed this out, but according to facts, the dolls, the puppets themselves, only have a screen time of less than 5 minutes in this entire movie, which is absolutely wild when you think about it. Although I would argue that they're very well spaced out. I thought that the dolls were really well spaced out throughout it, and I don't feel that it's only 5 minutes. To me, I never would notice if you didn't tell me. So that's a good thing. The movie opens up where it's in the old 1930s, and we follow, of course, none other than my good buddy William Hickey, who I do the great impression. Grace, the blessing. I love William Hickey. William Hickey's fucking great. This and The Circus and fucking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I mean, I always love William Hickey. Tales of the Dark Side of the movie. Just a great actor. I always love William Hickey. He is this, of course, puppet maker / toy maker / he could bring them to life, and he's in his apartment. There are 2 neo-Nazis going up to get his secret recipe to creating these puppets that come to life. And I liked the opening where they used these little low camera shots as a POV for the lead puppet, Blade. Blade has become the face of the whole Puppet Master franchise. Of course, everyone knows Blade. He's got the blade in one hand and the hook in the other, that iconic smile and the hair. I love Blade. Everybody's favorite puppet is generally Blade. I mean, Blade is their poster boy, really. You get these interesting kind of low shots as Blade's kind of bobbing and weaving through this lobby. And I thought, which was interesting, I was like, who did the camera work on this? None other. And I hope Matt Landrum's still in the house, because I know Matt Landrum loves these movies. And I know Matteo's going to love this. Sergio Civiletti. And if you don't know that name, Sergio also did the cinematography, director of photography, whatever the fuck you want to call it, on the Gates of Hell trilogy. Yes, he worked a lot with Lucio Fulci, of course. He does the he does the cinematography for Zombie. He does it for City of the Living Dead, The Beyond. It's absolutely wild, the camera work that he did. I mean, and it's really cool that they got him for something like this. Of course, he would also work with Argento. I mean, he worked a lot in the Italian film scene, and he's not the only Italian, film star that they would get. Of course, they also get Miss Irene Miracle. She plays one of the psychics in the movie. Of course, Argento fans are going to remember her from a little movie called Inferno. And she's my favorite actor in this movie. She does a great job. I really, really enjoy her performance. But we'll get there. We start with these kind of interesting camera movements on the floor, the POV of Blade, and then we go up to the room of William Hickey, who knows the Nazis are coming for him. He's warned, and he tells the puppets, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I won't let anything happen to you. He kind of stores them in a wall, and he takes his own life. And then we fast forward to all these years later, where we're introduced to all these psychics that each one of them has like a specific ability. One of them can touch an object and can tell what happened with said object. Like she touches the bed and goes, Clark Gable fucked someone here. You have the one lady who is reading the palms in the carnival, and it's Irene Miracle. And the person she's reading her palm, it's fucking Barbara Crampton. I went, Babs. Immediately, Babs. I fucking love Babs. You always got to pop for Babs. I love Barbara Crampton. You just got to love her. But unfortunately, she's only in one scene in this movie. But it is pretty cool to see her. Babs, she's reading her print and stuff like that. You have the lead character who, I guess he dreams stuff about it. He's the biggest kind of weak link to me is the lead character. I just did not care for his performance in this at all. I don't know, just didn't like him. And of course, they all are brought to this mansion because this one guy has taken his own life. It's the mansion from the beginning of the film. And the whole idea is once they get there, they're like, what's going on? Is there something happening here? And of course, what we get is, these puppets are out to kill these psychics one by one. And the movie kind of plays out from there. It is a slow burn. The puppets themselves don't get a lot of time to shine. And I get that being a big reason why people would kind of steer towards the sequels. It makes perfect sense. In a lot of ways, it's like Ghoulies, right? Which was also, funny enough, in Empire International Picture. The first Ghoulies doesn't feel like it's really about them. They're really in the background. It's really about this guy that wants to make the fucking sacrifice and all this stuff. He wants to summon the god, and the Ghoulies are kind of in the background. Whereas in Ghoulies 2, it's the perfect it's Ghoulies fucking up people in a carnival. That's why everybody loves Ghoulies 2 the best. So I understand why with this particular, it's the similar effect. It's not really about the puppets. It's about the resurrection of the master. It's about, okay, this guy Neil, he wants to come back to life. And the movie kind of plays out where one by one, these psychics are getting picked off. And I thought the kills were creative, and I thought the smartest thing they did, and possibly the biggest reason why this became a franchise of 15 fucking movies, probably in counting, was that it wasn't just one puppet. They made the smart decision to each puppet its own individuality. You have the tunneler, right? The guy with the fucking cone in his head that will tunnel into you. You got Pinhead. Well, Pinhead would do that. The Jester. You had the fucking leech woman that would hack up a giant leech on your body and suck your bones dry or fucking poison your ass. And then, of course, Blade, who's the poster boy. Each one of them had their own thing that made them stand out. And I thought that is probably why you garnered the longevity with a franchise that you got here. Even though they're sparingly in this movie, it was a good idea to plant this seed here so then for future movies, you could expand on them. Okay, you want more Leech Woman? We'll give you. You want more Tunneler? We'll give you more Tunneler. It was really smart how they did that. And I thought that the kill scenes in this, while they're few and far between, are actually quite effective, right? You have the two psychics that are having sex. One of them, she kind of goes underneath the bed and she gets her head drilled into, and you see her feet kind of scrambling. The guy that she's having sex with is he's blindfolded and tied to the bed, and the leech woman comes up and starts toying with him. She starts playing with his nipple. He's like, oh, I like that. I love that. She's playing with his nipple, and then all of a sudden she just hacks up a big leech on him. And he's like, oh, what's on me? Help. And I just burst out laughing, man. I love that shit. I thought that was really funny. How the leech lady is probably my favorite. I think she's just great. I just think that shit is so who the fuck thought of that? To have this fucking leech lady, just a fucking leech onto this poor man who's just trying to get laid. God damn it, that's a cruel way to kill somebody. I loved that. There are some kinks in the armor here, pacing is a big issue for sure. The fact that they show quite a few scenes multiple times. There's a dream sequence of Neil, his wife, and then, of course, our lead in this attic area where they're dancing. Neil has a white mask on. He takes it off, and then it's just cuts. And they show that scene no less than 4 times in this movie. I'm like, This screams of padding. This screams of like we didn't have feature length and we just threw the scene in here 4 fucking times to pad the runtime. Like that's a big kind of kink in the armor. Another kink in the armor, the fucking housemaid. If anyone has seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. The housemaid gets killed early on in the movie. She gets hit with a fire poker to the head, and then we don't see her for a while. She fucking pops up in the finale. I'm fucking possessed. I'm alive. I'm reborn. I'm recreated. The characters leave that room. We never see that fucking lady again. What the fuck? Like, to this day, I don't understand what happened there. Was she killed and then resurrected by Neil as like a human puppet? I think that's what they're going for. But if so, she's never killed again. She's never taken out again. It's absolutely It's like, what the fuck are you going for? Like, it's kind of weird. It really is. It's like, huh? Like, did you just drop the ball? Did you forget about this lady? And then somebody at the end of the shooting went, oh my God, we fucking forgot about this bitch. All right, come on, get in the makeup. We're gonna fucking put some fucking gore on you. Just weird. I don't know what happened with that. I always thought that was the fucking weirdest thing in this movie. The dialogue is quite good. I actually think the dialogue in this movie is good. I liked the dinner scene where Irene Miracle has these great lines where she says something like, I don't like to think of myself as an asshole. I like to think of myself as an iconic bitch. I love the way she delivers that with a Southern accent. I thought was fucking hysterical. I was like, I literally bust out laughing when I rewatched this. I was like, she's the best character. Like, I absolutely love her. She's randomly carrying around her stuffed dog in the movie, which I guess is she couldn't cope with the dog dying, so she had the dog fucking stuffed and carries around her purse and talks to it, which does come into play later, and the dog gets by the end resurrected, which I was like, who the fuck does that? But Irene Miracle, I guess. I don't know. It's weird to see her in a movie like this, right? Like, she's in Late Night Train, she's in fucking Inferno, and then by the end of the decade, she's in fucking Puppet Master, just playing a Southerner. Really weird role for her. The entire finale is a little rushed, I feel like. Like, you get to all these dead bodies, you get to Neil's resurrection. I'm fucking alive. I am well. I am going to take over. He gets trapped in the elevator, and he makes the fatal flaw of saying, I'm done with the puppets. I want to make human experiment puppets. And the puppets hear this and turn on him, and they each get their own chance to really dig into him, right? Tunnel in, and the fucking leech woman and Blade getting it. I mean, I liked that. I love the whole death scene in the elevator. And to the point, too, I thought was funny. They cut his leg and he's bleeding red. When they cut his fingers off, he bleeds green. I guess that means he's resurrected. You bleed green, you bleed red. You bleed Christmas colors, by God, if you get resurrected. Christ says you must bleed green or red. There is no other option. I love that. I thought that was really fun. It reminded me of a little bit of Phantasm when the tall man gets cut and the yellow blood squirts out of his fingers. I thought that was interesting. It's fine. It definitely has some issues. Like I said, I think you could have got a better director here. I think pacing could have been fixed. I think you could have used certain scenes less, right? The repackaging, repaging, reshowing that dream sequence all those times. You could have had a stronger lead. I don't really like the lead character at all. He's just kind of a pussy. He's kind of just there, just like a bump on a pickle. I'm like, who the fuck cast this guy? I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe it was just the character. I don't know. But all in all, the fact that this movie has spawned and created this big, giant franchise of 15 movies is nothing to be understated. It's actually quite amazing how big these movies have become. Puppet Master has become to Full Moon what fucking Nightmare on Elm Street was to New Line Cinema. It's the house that fucking Blade built. It really is. And it's nice to see that they get, of course, they tried all these sorts of franchise-esque movies, franchise bait movies. And I think I really wonder, right? The other night, Alpha Romero on his stream, which watch his channel, Alpha's the man. He said there was this whole thing where he was like, what if Night of the Living Dead had been called Night of the Flesh Eaters? And then what if the copyright was actually filed? And he was going on all of these what ifs. Here's a big what if for this particular movie. What if Charles Band had listened to distributors and released this in the summer of 1989? There was they wanted this released in 1989 in the summer. They wanted to see how this movie would draw. Band said no. Band put the brakes on it. Band said, we're going direct to video and we're going to do this in October. This movie sold like fucking hotcakes, and all of a sudden, Puppet Master becomes this giant direct to video franchise. And I wonder, what if this had gone to the theater? What if maybe it bombed? We may never even get a Puppet Master 2. We could easily live in a world where this is like Dolls, and Dolls never gets the fucking sequel because I still can't make heads or tails of what the fuck Dolls made profit-wise. So who knows? Maybe it was the smartest thing in the world to make a movie for $400,000 to then decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to make the fucking ballsy call to go direct to video in October when people are wanting to watch a horror movie, right? You know your demographic, you know your time of the year where you're going to sell the most tapes right around Halloween time. That's the number one time when people want to watch horror movies. Halloween time. Not fucking August where everyone's sweating balls, right? It's just not going to work. I think Charles Band made a really gutsy call there, and it worked. I really think what if there may not be even an entire franchise? It may just be this movie, and we would have been robbed of the sequels, which I do like. I like part 2. Part 3 is probably my favorite. Part 4 is a blast. And then part 5 is the last one I can watch. Like Puppet Master 6 is a big piece of shit, and I have never watched past The Curse of the Puppet Master, I think it was called. Holy shit! I wouldn't show that to people I was trying to torture. I really would. Well, actually, I would. But yeah, no, really bad. But we have a shit ton of comments. Let me go back. Holy cow! Where in the heck were we? I think we were. If I missed your comment, I'm so sorry, but I don't know where the fuck I was. I want to say we were like right around here. Love the Puppet Master franchise. Seen the first 9 besides part 8 multiple times. Wow, I've seen the first 4 multiple times. Puppet Master 5 was like a one-time watch because they had like 20 minutes of movie and just stretched it out. There was nothing else there. That was a Jeff Burr joint. May he rest in peace. He did part 4 as well. Right. Okay, you're talking to Ryan. Part 2 is my fave. Okay, I like part 2 a lot as well. I would go part 3. Part 4 is 2 people saying part 4. Okay, so we're all going with a sequel. That's what seems to be, the other award in each category, Empire Screams, was up. Okay, you guys are talking about something else. I like the character of Toulon, but he's not in the first film as much. Exactly, and like they change what he is in the second. In the second movie, he's more of a villain. And then the rest of him, he's a babyface. It's weird. He's a babyface, villain, and then he's a babyface in all of them. I don't understand that. Like, it's just so fucking weird. Puppet Master feels like a chore to sit through. Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see somebody sitting with this and being bored with it. I don't mind it. I like movies like this where you bring a couple of people over and they know something's up. You give them time to develop and you pick them off one by one. I like movies like that. So it didn't feel boring to me. But again, if you are in this for the puppets, which is very fucking understandable of the title, I could see why you'd go with a sequel over this. But I like this movie. I think this is still a passable movie. And without it, you don't have the sequels. So, I mean, you have to give it desserts. Come crawling faster, faster. Obey our master, master. Dude, huge Metallica fan. I absolutely love it. People saying hi to one another. I do like the puppets aren't inherently evil or good. Their morality is dependent on the morality of the master. That's a great, yes, I love that too. Dude, I love William Hickey. The blessing. William Hickey is a fucking legend, man. Rest in pepperonis. I've got to see that box set that you guys are all talking about. I've not seen that. I didn't know what that box set was when you first brought it up. I think what makes Puppet Master a cult classic now is the B-movie actress Barbara Crampton. Well, I mean, I wish Barbara Crampton was in it more. I wish Barbara Crampton would have played the lead. Fuck. Get rid of that other guy. Yes, Big Fulci collaborator. Yep, there you go. Landrum knows. But my favorite puppet is Pinhead. Okay. The camera work in The Beyond is fantastic. I will watch this movie now. There you go. See? Now, don't expect the Beyond. don't expect even half of what the Beyond is, but it is pretty cool. I thought that was, and it was cool. Irene, it's like, how did these Italian actors wind up here? It's actually quite. I would love to know the answer to that. Trench Dolls is good. Okay, if you ever get the chance, check out Puppet Master: The Last Reich. Really, really good. Babs is in that too. That's right. Babs does return for one of these. But I would have to let Mern steer me through the Puppet Master sequels because after 4, I didn't even remember 5 really. I remember 5 just being like really stretched out, and then part 6, I was like, what the fuck happened here? Like that, and that was it. And then I waved the white flag. I personally like dolls a lot. I got TerrorVision on the TV while editing. Oh, thank you so much. You're triple tasking. Grande's Graveyard, TerrorVision, and you're editing. I mean, who's better than you, man? Hey, I'm new to your channel. Is this a film channel? Dan Cowman. Welcome, Dan Cowman. Hope all's well with you. Yes, this is a film channel where we talk all things horror goodness. So welcome, Dan the Cowman. I feel like Puppet Master 1 does it better than Ghoulies 1, though. Yes, Ghoulies 1 I think sucks. I don't like Ghoulies 1. This movie I think is passable. It's like a 5.5, 6. Like, I think you bump it up to a 6 because of what it spawned. I think you have to give it like a 6 in that ballpark. Albert Cole, Jester just spitting his face. Yeah, that's right. Welcome, Jester. Welcome to the graveyard, Dan the Cowman. Absolutely. My grandpa was a huge Puppet Master fan back in the day. Really? Grandpa Romero. Very cool. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. Here come the puppets to kill Kermit and the Muppets who are making money with Warren Buffett. Don't you know that you're going to love it? Oh, shit. Because this is this man freestyling and profiling. Swish it and dish it. Then they added some puppets later, 6-shooter, Torch, and that Torch has become a big fan favorite. Yeah, like, you can really do a whole show on Puppet Master. You know, it's funny. The first movie really has, like, the least amount of them, which is kind of funny. People saying hi to one another. Dario Argento has some crazy kills. Yes, Argento is the maestro, like Mateo says. I love Dario Argento. There was a B movie from the late 1990s called Blood Dolls. It had a female rock band locked in a cage. Okay. Awesome. I'll subscribe. Thank you. They actually explain more in the Puppet Master comic series. It's pretty good. Okay, I've not seen that either. Joe Mama's in the house. Yo, Joe Mama. What's up, buddy? Argento's 3D. Yeah, Argento's Dracula 3D is fucking a horrible movie, but it is good, clean comedy. Off topic, Grande, have you heard of the YouTuber Slipcover Steve? He's a film collector on YouTube. I think the guy is amusing, and he's obviously playing a role. I have not heard of him, but I can always check out Slipcover Steve. It seems like he's fucking hilarious, as according to Eli, so I'll have to check out Slipcover Steve. Argento's Dracula was pretty bad, probably his worst film. Yeah, it's probably his worst film. I would agree with that. Yeah, most of the characters are interesting and memorable. I have never seen the Puppet Master. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, no, it's worth a watch. I don't think it's a movie that, I think it's worth a watch for sure. You cut the legs, you bleed red. You cut the arms, you bleed green. Something you thought you'd never seen. Taking you where you've never been. Looking through the camera. Okay, wow. This guy, so many movies reminds me of the... That is a great point. Yeah, like Amityville Dollhouse could easily have just been a Puppet Master movie. Like, it's totally in that vein. It does. In Amityville movies, it's like a lot of them. But I would say this, though. The Amityville, like, after a while, they went with the objects. Whereas this, it's always the puppets. Like, that was the smartest thing, I think. And again, the personalities. But you're right. It's insane how many fucking Puppet Master movies there are. Puppet Master 6 is almost a scene-by-scene remake of from the 60s to 70s, but replaces Bakes with puppets and changes snakes with puppets. A few things, but there's no way it didn't take from... Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't know. I will never watch Puppet Master 6 again. I always wonder what the Halloween series would have been like if it had remained an anthology series. Oh, man, I wonder, too. That would have been a really bold and I think brave way to go about it. But unfortunately, that just wasn't going to draw. They made the right move, but selfishly, I agree with you. I would love to have seen 10 Halloween movies, their anthology. I think that would have been really cool to see, but we'll never know. That's another big what if. Like, what other movies did Carpenter and Tommy Lee Wallace and Cundy, what other movies did they have planned? That would have been really cool. This guy just keep going. Here comes the Amityville series. I find that quite eerie. The ghosts have into a fury. The bodies have been buried. Oh shit. I haven't seen the newer ones. I haven't either. I'm fucking tapped out with Amityville as well. There was a underrated 1990s vicious doll movie called Demonic Toys, which of course they eventually had them face each other in Puppet Master versus the Demonic Toys. So that movie eventually happens. What does Albert Cole has to say here? My fucking comment thing froze here. Hold on. Let me go here. She was in that for like one scene. Yeah, she came back in the Nazi one. Yeah, she's only in for one scene, which is weird. Later sequels are flaws, but they all have the charm to me. Besides 8, that's a glorified clip show. Oh, no, I didn't get that. Snakes and not bakes. No worries, I knew what you meant. Revise those bars, Grande. Didn't think they worked. No worries, you're good, man. It's amazing how this movie came out 2 years after Hellraiser, which also had the villain Pinhead. Absolutely. Puppet Master, I think... If you're looking for an exciting Friday night, it's not the one you choose of these movies. You go with 2 through 4. But if you want to do like a slow burn in a way, puppet movie, I think there are worse choices. I think it's a good enough movie. I would give it just above the passing grade of like a 5.5, bump it up to a 6 because of the fucking, the franchise that it spawned. So 6 out of 10 for the Puppet Master for me. I think it's a good one. I really do. I think it's one that everyone should see at least once. And of course, if you like the sequels better, I mean, I'm in the boat too. I think the sequels are better as well. I feel like to get to the anthology series, you have to sacrifice Halloween 2, which I would never want to do. I love Halloween 2. That's my favorite of the bunch. And after part 4, I don't like hardly any of them. So you should have just stopped at 4 and I would have been a happy camper. But it happens. It becomes a teenage wasteland after you're an unhappy camper. Let's be honest. That brings us to the last movie of the evening, which takes the fucking cake. And Eli, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry in advance because I did not like this next movie at all. This next movie was true torture in the worst of fucking ways. It came out in the year 1991. I'm talking about this little movie. I'm talking about Dolly Dearest. Yes, Dolly Dearest. Before we get to the brief plot synopsis, I want to talk a little bit about the director of this movie. I had never seen Dolly Dearest. This was one that I picked specifically for this show. I was excited to watch it. I had never seen the movie before, but I always remembered as a kid going to Hollywood Video and seeing this particular cover in the video aisle. I'll never forget it. It was right around where Child's Play was because it was all alphabetical. So you go in A, B, C. Of course, I saw Child's Play. You had the trilogy at that time. Wild Up, of course, Child's Play 1, 2, and 3. I always loved the cover of Child's Play 3 with the demonic smile of Chucky's face and the blood and the sorry Jack, Chucky's back with the Jack in the Box getting its fucking head caught off. I love that shit. One of the other covers that caught my eye was this one. I think this is a great, for nothing else, I actually love this cover. I love this poster. I think that's great. I like the children's blocks, multicolored, Dolly Dearest in blood, the fucking meat cleaver, it's time to play. Good poster. I would say that's a really, really good poster. That almost ends the positives of this movie. But the most interesting thing, that's more interesting than the film itself, is the director, Maria Lease. Now, Maria Lease, that may not be a name to anybody. Probably a lot of people going, I don't know who the fuck Maria Lease is. Get on with the fucking show, you son of a bitch. No. I got to tell you who Maria Lease is because you ain't going to fucking believe my ass. You ain't going to believe it. Maria Lease was someone who starred in one of the earliest video nasties. I'm not kidding you. She stars in this movie, Love Camp 7. Now, if anyone is a Nazi exploitation fan, Maria Lease is the lead of this movie. And now I got to cover this up because there are some yiddies on there. But Maria Lease is the lead of course, if you've seen Love Camp 7, it's two, they're officers and they go under the cover of this women's prison. They get assaulted and all these things. She's the lead in that. I was like, that is fucking wild that she's in that movie. Even crazier, she would go on to be an editor for one of my all-time favorite exploitation movies. Probably my top 10 favorite exploitation movies. This little movie right here from 1973 or 74, I forget. But it's Schoolgirls in Chains. I love Schoolgirl. Don Jones. I love Schoolgirls in Chains. This is a fucking exploitation classic. She edited this movie. What the fuck? The craziest thing, though, is that after she tested the waters of acting in exploitation sleazy films, after the hell she fucking grabbed the editor's chair of an exploitation sleazy film, she said, fuck it. Maria Lease said, fuck it. Fuck you, fuck you. Maria Lease said, fuck you. I'm going to direct porn. She directed such porn classics as Girls in Blue, Chopsticks, Little Girls Blue, Expensive Tastes, and Soft Places. That's what Maria Lease decided to do in the late half of the 1970s, bleeding on over into the 1980s. Maria Lease started to direct porn. And then by the time 1990 rolls around, she says, well, I didn't make it as a lead actress. Well, I didn't make it as a fucking editor. Well, I didn't make it as a fucking porn director. I know. Child's Play is a big fucking movie right now. Child's Play just made a lot of fucking money. Let's try to rip off Child's Play. And her only non-pornographic directed film to date, because Maria Lease is still with us, and I do hope she watches this. Hello, Maria. I like your editing. Your fucking directing sucks. Dolly Dearest. Dolly Dearest. Weird fucking road to me to be a part of movies that I like. Not the porn ones. The exploitation ones, by God. But I just think that is such a, how the fuck does one fail upward that much? I mean, it's just actually something that should be studied in a laboratory. It really, really should. But I mean, I don't know. That was the craziest thing about it. When I fucking was reading about this, I was like, that is so exciting. Like, what the fuck? What is this movie? Like, I was really kind of cheering for it. And I was like really wanting to like it. The movie itself, man, holy shit. We'll get into this movie right now. Let me go into a brief plot synopsis. So this won't be as painful for y'all. A toy manufacturer buys the Dolly Dearest factory in Mexico, where the malevolent spirit of Sanzia, a devil child, has taken refuge in one of the porcelain dolls and eventually takes control of his daughter. Dolly Dearest. Yeah, Dolly Dearest, man. Oof. The year is young, but this is the worst movie I've watched for show prep this year. Oh, man, this was a bad one. The movie actually stars Barbara Crampton. Not Barbara Crampton, Jesus Christ. I had Barbara Crampton on the mind. I'm sorry. The movie does not star Barbara Crampton. The movie fucking stars, if I get my mind straight here, I think I'm losing my mind, Denise Crosby. It's Denise Crosby. 1 year removed, actually a couple years removed at this point, from a little movie called Pet Sematary. Of course, we all love Pet Sematary, but Denise Crosby is the lead here. She plays the mom of this family, and of course, yes, like the synopsis said, this fucking idiot buys the toy company in Mexico, and that's why the whole movie takes place in Mexico. Years and years ago, this ancient evil was released from the mines there. It got out, it killed a guy, and then the evil of Sanzio transferred itself into these dolls. And it's not just one doll, like the plot synopsis has said, it's like all of the dolls on the shelf. So it's not a situation where I picked the cursed one, I picked Chucky, I picked the one with a soul in it. No, they're all fucking possessed. So that plot synopsis is not even right. The girl, she goes to the factory, she picks out Dolly Dearest. They try, and I would say this is probably the best part of the movie, they do try to make the doll seem sinister. In a similar vein, this movie really reminded me a lot of Annabelle from 2014. It was very fucking similar to Annabelle. Like, if this is the 90s, if you like Annabelle, you'll fucking jack off all over this. I mean, you'd love this movie. It's very similar, where they're trying to do these establishing shots of making this doll creepy. You have Denise Crosby. She's walking around the house. There's an interesting shot where she walks. There's a mirror in the right side of the screen. She goes over to get something. She comes back, stops to put it back, and you see the doll come in and out of the mirror image. I was like, okay. I was like, that's okay. That's a cliche, but I'm with you here. Like, this is totally fine. That's something I might have done as well. Like, golf clap. It's okay. But as it went on, man, it actually felt like a bad possession movie to me. And I thought that was the biggest flaw they made with this. As, of course, the little girl is being taken over pretty much instantly by Dolly Dearest. They rip off The Omen. There's a scene where they're driving by a fucking church and the little girl starts fucking hulking up. Ah! Screaming her fucking head off. Ah! Like Damien in The Omen when he starts shaking and he's foaming from the mouth. I don't know. They were like, fuck it, we'll rip off The Omen. Why the fuck not? Bizarre. You have the fucking housekeeper who's this lady who's also very fucking, the shaman. Blah, 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 blah. She's like praying about all this shit. And oh my God, there's an evil here. We need to leave. We need to leave. Very fucking stereotypical character, horribly written. Dolly Dearest kills her in an interesting scene. She like tricks her to walking into water, and then she throws this thing that makes the water electrocute the lady. That was probably the only good death scene, one of like 2 death scenes in the whole movie. So there's that. There's the other death scene in the movie. The sole other one was bizarre. You had this worker who's in the factory who's drunk and off of his shift and decides, hey, fuck it. I'm going to take one of these dolls and start dancing with it. He goes, hola, señorita. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? He goes, hola, ¿tú quieres bailar conmigo, eh? I'm like, what the fuck? Do you not have anything better to do in your life, S.A.? Do you not have anything better to do in your life? I would go do drugs or fucking shoot porn films or edit fucking exploitation films before I would start fucking asking a doll if it wants a shot of my tequila, Holmes. What the fuck? I mean, what? And this whole murder setup scene was just bizarre to me. He's just like, we're going to dance. Then all the dolls kind of turn around and attack his ass. And he gets his hand caught in like a sewing machine and he's screaming. He falls to the ground, and we see this thing. It looks like something's going to merge out of him, but they wanted to visually show that he was actually having a heart attack. That was Maria Lease's brilliant plan. There wasn't anything going to burst out of his chest like a fucking xenomorph. No, he was having a heart attack, you son of a bitch. What, dude, what? I mean, just bizarre. Like, horrible, really horrible death scene. I was like, geez. I was like, I am really in for it, aren't I? Rip Torn is also in this movie. Rip Torn's in the movie playing a Mexican archaeologist. Yeah, let that sink in. Rip Torn. Yeah, Men in Black, Rip Torn, dodgeball. You could dodge a rip wrench, you could dodge a ball. If you could dodge a fucking Dolly Dearest, you could dodge 12 years of your life, really. He's in this movie playing a Mexican archaeologist, which I was like, what the fuck with it? His accent comes and goes. It's actually quite funny as it went on. I was like, oh, now he's Spanish. Oh, now he's okay. Now he's not. Like, it was really fucking funny, man. I was sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck is, like, who this? I mean, I like Rip Torn a lot, but why? Like, why did, what? Just a weird casting choice, man, for Rip. Denise Crosby is trying. I would say even the little girl gives a good performance. There's being possessed, right? We can get her name here. I think it's Candace Houston. She's trying. She really is. She's trying to sell the fact that this doll is taking over my life. There's a point where, Denise Crosby goes to take the doll from her. I'm taking Dolly for tonight. And she kind of like gets up in her face. She goes, I'll kill you. She starts yelling at her. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that kid did a good job. I thought the acting from those two did good. The guy playing the dad sucks. The guy playing the brother, get out of Hollywood. This ain't for you, buddy. I'm sorry. You stink. He's listened to a Sony Walkman or something throughout the whole fucking movie. He had the most punchable face. I was hoping Dolly Dearest would fucking kill his ass with a jump rope or something, but no. The problem with this movie, the biggest problem is you really had someone that, I understand this was Maria Lease's baby. She wrote this, she produced this, she directed this. She had come from the world of porn and editing and acting even. She tried her hands in everything, second unit departments. I mean, she truly did work in every aspect of film. So you'd think it's time to give it a shot, right? You're of that age. You see a ton of inexperience here. Unfortunately, the direction here is just quite weak. You really, others than maybe one or two scenes, you just don't do a good job of building any atmosphere, any aura, any scary tension that this doll could have, the credibility that Dolly Dearest could have in this film. I think that's all squandered by the wayside. I would even say Annabelle is probably a better movie than this, and that's saying a lot because Annabelle sucks. But really squandered potential there, I thought. I really did. I mean, I was like, oh, man. And another thing, another big problem, it feels way too much like Child's Play. Like the whole, okay, evil spirit went into a doll. Instead of one doll, you have multiple. Okay, you did bring back, of course, may he rot in hell when he gets there, Ed Gale, of course. And if you know Ed Gale and you know what Ed Gale has done, you know he is going to hell. So Ed Gale, you're a piece of shit. But Ed Gale is, of course, the one that plays Dolly Dearest when he's running around, which was, of course, the same actor that played Chucky in the original Child's Play when they used the little person for him to run around. So, I mean, there's that similarity. There's the whole similarity of there are apparently, and I don't know if this, I've never seen these, so this is a rumor, but it's apparently true that there are promotional posters that instead of calling the movie Dolly Dearest, called it Child's Play 4. Now, I've never seen that. I don't know if that's out there. If it is, that would be a huge collector's item. I mean, that would probably be a big deal if that ever came out, but I don't think it ever will because I don't even know if it's real. And if it is real, they're probably buried alongside with the ET Atari 2600 game. Let's be honest. It's bizarre. It really is that's bizarre that they were like, fuck it, we could try to sell this as Child's Play 4. But of course, that did not last long. They changed it to Dolly Dearest. It apparently had a brief theatrical run. I couldn't find any proof of that until it was immediately dumped direct to video, of course, trying to capitalize on the success of Child's Play 1 through 3. Child's Play 3 comes out in 91. This is also 91, bleeding over into 92. So that's around the time when you can go and rent this thing. So it makes sense, right? It makes sense to try to capitalize on the big thing at that time. but it is a really rather weak film. And even when you get to the finale, it's so anticlimactic. Like, you had all this time to build tension, and you really just didn't do that. And of course, once it gets to the finale, it's like, we already spreaded all this dynamite around the place. We're just going to blow the place up. It's so quick. Like, Dolly's trying to kill the guy running the factory. Rip Torn runs in, kills the power. He gets the guy off the fucking thing, and they're like, oh, there's dynamite. Let's go. I guess the fucking Dolly Dearest didn't know what the fuck dynamite was, and the whole factory just blows up in a very anticlimactic way as everyone's okay and fine. Not enough people died in this movie. Like, to me, if you're going to do a movie where there's a low body count and it's a killer doll film, you really got to have those scare sequences mean something, and they just don't. That's the problem. It's as flat as A Cup Yetis. It's just not a movie that I would ever recommend to somebody. It's boring, and I don't say that much, but it is a boring movie. I was forcing myself through it. I even said after the movie ended, I was like, the only way that could have been worse is somebody kicked me in the fucking balls before I turned on Dolly Dearest. So I don't know, man. I would recommend you stay the fuck away from Dolly Dearest. There was not really hardly any positives. Maybe the child's performances, maybe Denise Crosby's performance, if you're really stretching. A couple of the practical effects. I mean, the fact that it's not CG, okay, I appreciate that, but you don't have any psychology here. You really don't have good storytelling, really good direction. I mean, I just think it's a mess overall. You can really tell this was someone's real directorial debut of a movie that's not, of course, XXX. But Dolly Dearest, is this going to be a 1 out of 10-er? It's probably a 1. I mean, I don't, other than Denise, I would give it a 1 for Denise Crosby and fucking, and the daughter's performance. That's the only 1 I would give it. Maybe 1.5. I don't know. 1.5. It's a piece of shit. I would not recommend you watch this fucking movie. But let's go to comments. Where were we? I think, oh, wow, we had a lot of them here. Again, man, I appreciate you all tonight. I do. Be nice, Grande. Well, I know Miss C loved this movie, but she didn't love it, but she gave it 4 stars. Oh, no worry. I appreciate that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know you're new here, so sometimes people they hear me ranting and they go, fuck this guy. But I'm just honest. Brutally, but I am honest. Slow burn. I've kind of let the movie turn. Something I have to learn, something I have to discern. Okay, haven't seen this one. Well, I wish I was you. I've heard of it, but never really wanted to watch it. Well, Captain Skittles, you are smarter than me, my friend. Dan Cow, man, I got to go, man. Looking forward to more streams. Cow, moo, 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 moo. Never seen this one. I know it's highly regarded by a lot of VS heads. Is it fucking really? Yo, what is there to highly regard? I would get it if it was a bloodbath. I would get it if it had a funny performance or scare sequence. Like, just has nothing to it. Like, I would never. I will say this: the people that made this poster, bravo. This movie doesn't deserve a poster that fucking good. I don't even know how it would sell the movie. If you said, Grande, I know you hate it, but try to sell this movie. I don't even know what I would say. I would just be like, Denise Crosby's okay in it. That's it. I don't know, man. Brutal. This movie came out same decade that Chris Dementral was on the HBO series Dream On, which is about a guy who obsesses with television. Okay. Off topic, how big is your collection? I'm at 4,658 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs. Off top, 6. Wow. That is crazy. I mean, that is quite a collection, my friend, and it puts mine to shame. I would say I'm in the 1,000 mark with Blu-rays and 4Ks. VHSs, I have a lot. I probably have 200-300 VHSs easily. I have a ton of VHSs. Blu-rays, 4Ks, probably in the 1,000 mark, somewhere in there, 1,200. It's definitely somewhere in that ballpark. I've never sat down and counted them out, but I would assume it has to be in the 1,000 ballpark. And I wouldn't think it would be that much more than that, though. Trench loves dolls. The Puppet Master doesn't want. Oh my God, fucking Cooper Glover, my friend, you got to get a rap channel or something. LMAO only. Expensive tastes. The name was ringing a bell. Exactly. Yeah. You mean to tell me that this is the same director that directed the soft ones and Blue Girls and fucking Heat? I mean, what the fuck? Ask Ty West about failing up. Yeah, for real. Ask Adam Wingard about failing up. I'll remake Death Note. I'll make it this big piece of shit that I can still fucking smell. It's such a piece of shit. I can smell it fucking 10 years later, and they will give him fucking Kong and Godzilla. How the fuck did he get that job? Whose dick did he suck to get that job? I want to know. I really want to know. Whose dick did Adam Wingard got on his fucking knees? He crawled the cobblestone paths of Hollywood, and somebody fucking gave him that job. And I don't know how it happened, but it did. I mean, it's a travesty. It's a travesty. I mean, as bad as Ty West is, Adam Wingard's even fucking worse. And it's a sick situation where it's like, I don't understand how these guys fail upward, but it does. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of Maria Lease's directorial work, but I like these two movies. So, I mean, she's at least been in something. False advertising. I mean, in what way? Like, do you think Dolly? Well, I guess in the way that she doesn't fucking really kill anybody, that is false advertising. Yeah, you're probably right. Would you say this is worse than the worst film you watched for last? No fucking way. No. What was it? Soul Survivor. I have the fucking movie right here. This. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. I'll fucking throw it over there. Fuck that shit. That is, like, as far as movies I have watched this decade, I don't know if anything's going to take the cake of that fucking movie. What the fuck? I don't know if Rusty's still here, but Rusty just gave the thumbs down the video. I just feel it. Does this movie have quite a bit of doll screen time and doll kills? No. And wait for it, Burns. Wait for it. Come on. You know it. No. It's fucking 2 kills on screen. And the second one, the guy died of a heart attack. So did the doll really kill him? I don't know. He really didn't dance with the doll, which I know probably ruined his fucking night. The housekeeper gets killed by the electrocution. That's the only kill that the doll actually does in this entire fucking movie. Camp 47 was a ripoff of Salo, but was missing. Oh my God, yeah, no, then that's a pretty big fucking to be missing Pasolini. Yeah, pretty big. But I mean, he did get fucking murdered for Salo. So, as far as poop eating cinema goes, I mean, we can't look past Salo, aka the 120 Days of Sodom. Space of Tastes, the name was ringing a bell. It took the place of the pits of hell in a forever locked perpetual jail cell. How we deal with it, time will tell, you bastards. Oh, we're having fun tonight on the Graveyard. Oh, the coach from Dodgeball comes out in this movie, Rip Torn. That's right. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. I'm a Mexican archaeologist. That is fucking... Camp 47 is like Salo. Never heard. Denise Crosby was also in the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Denise was in Mandroid as well. I love Denise Crosby. She's not the problem here. I actually fucking feel bad for Denise Crosby. There's an evil. Oh my gosh. And there's too much of these. I'm sorry. Grande rant. Yeah. Grande off topic. Did you know Gene Hackman is dude? Yeah. Rest in peace. I hope. Oh my God. The fact that all of them died, I thought of carbon monoxide, but apparently they've ruled that out. And they found open pill bile next to her body. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. Like, I'm so scared that something bad, like, I don't know what the fuck. I really, really, really hope it's nothing like that, because I would love to do a spotlight on Gene Hackman. I really like Gene Hackman. LMFAO, Dodge a Dolly Dearest. That's got to be a t-shirt. Yeah, we'll produce the t-shirts. If you can dodge a Dolly Dearest, you can dodge a ball. Mexican Child's Play. Basically, yeah. I mean, and it's a fucking shitty Mexican Child's Play. Like, I would have been all for Mexican Child's Play with fucking kills and something. There's just nothing. It's just such a flat, bland, emotionless movie. Some people say now, like, a big thing I hear is they'll call a movie soulless. That's a big, and we have the Soul Trench coat in the house. He can confirm this. That's a big, I think that's a fucking pretty, and this is coming from me, I think that's a pretty horrible thing to say about a fucking movie, right? But in this case, I know Maria Lease is probably trying her best. It's close to being soulless. It is close. I feel that with this movie. Granted, it really isn't. It's not. Did he talk about 9 to 5 yet? We got Mark in the house. Mark and me are going to be seeing The Chamber of Secrets tomorrow night in the cinema. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Here comes oh my God, fucking Cooper Glover. How many? Fuck this guy. No, man, I'm sorry. It is boring to you, not to me, Grande. But well, there you go. Miss C found Dolly Dearest very entertaining. Off top again, what do I think of Vincent? I think Vincent, probably about 25 to 30% of what Vincent releases is actually worth a shit. They have subscribers, buyers, followers that will follow them blindly no matter what it is. And Vince Sims' packaging, their cover art, the way they promote their products is fucking brilliant. I don't know if there's anyone better. I don't know if there's anyone better as far as packaging a product, shining up a turd real nice, turn that sunbit sideways and selling it for $36.99 as a fucking sale. That's Vince Sin. That's their gimmick. And they originated as a porn company. I don't like some of the shit they did with the Thriller. I have the Thriller 4K, what they did. I don't like what they did to Don May. I don't like the fucking promo they cut on Synapse saying your product is inferior. No, their product was being sold for what it was fucking worth, which was $20, whereas you fucking ripped everybody's arms, legs, and fucking ass hairs off when you sold it for $55. Let's call a spade a spade. And if you know there's somebody that ain't afraid to call a spade, it's this four-eyed son of a bitch only on my own fucking show. The John Grande, the whole fucking show. Rob Van Dam, people. I poop on Puppet Master before I would take a dump on Dolly Dearest. What the fuck? Jesus Christ, what the fuck? That needs to be on a fucking t-shirt. Let's be honest. I'd poop on Puppet Master before I'd shit on the best side of Dolly Dearest. Adam Wingard blows. Dude, Adam Wingard is a fucking piece of shit. I hate Adam Wingard. He sucks. His movies suck. You're Not Next. You're fucking should be washed. But unfortunately, they handed him multi-$100 million movies, man. This movie. DA is in the house. What's up, JG? Almost Friday. Hey, man, I'm super excited for Friday. I am. I really am. Let's see. Death Note remake is hilarious. Not good, but hilarious. It's like they mixed a dollar store Final Destination and bargain bin Heathers and threw up a dumpster version of Death Note all over. Dude, that is a really scary, accurate way of fucking... That is amazing. You gotta write that down and fucking post it on IMDb. That is exactly what it is. I mean, shit. Oh, God, that movie stinks. I'll give this one a chance after all of that. I will give it a chance. All we are saying is give Dolly Dearest a chance. Yes, some movies have nothing to do with it. My idea for Face Off Part 2 can't happen now. I wanted Gene Hackman to switch faces with Hugh Jackman. So it'll be Gene Hackman and Hugh Hackman. Dude, only Merns. We love Merns for this. Mateo's laughing. And another celebrity who just died was Michelle Oh my God, that's right. Oh my gosh, she's in a few movies and TV shows that were my favorite. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Yeah, she was one of the original Nickheads. She was Harriet the Spy. That one's really... I mean, Gene Hackman was 95, right? Fucking Michelle Trachtenberg was 39. Horror. I mean, I know she just got a fucking liver transplant, and they think it could have been due to complications between... I mean, that is... really sad. I remember in Buffy. I remember in Eurotrip, the Black Xmas movie, which I know people love, but whatever. Oh, man, way too young. That is really fucking sad. Congo is not a turd. It's a misunderstood masterpiece. I actually like Congo, but to release a $50 or whatever, $40 4K of fucking Congo, come on. Just come the fuck. I mean, I like the movie, but it's a fucking it's a $5 movie that you're shining up and fucking repackaged. Or now it's $41. Come on. Like, you can't, to me, I can't overlook stuff like that. That's fucking ridiculous. I like some crappy films, or not crappy, but cheap, low budget films. Vinegar Syndrome, they have some calling ones. They do. I said 30%, you're going to get some, The Freeway, great. Fucking Fade to Black, great. Christmas Evil, great. Madman, great. They have good releases. I just don't, like, there are people that will blindly buy everything they get. I'm not one of those people. I'm not a subscriber. If I see something I like, I will get it. They released Crazy Fat Ethel finally on Blu-ray. I did a cartwheel. I was so fucking happy. Crazy Fat Ethel belongs on Blu-ray. But, I mean, does that mean I'm going to, you can get the bundle and this and that and the other fucking thing? No, I'm sorry. Thriller, Cruel. I love Thriller, Cruel Picture, a.k.a. They called her one eye and ran for their lives. I love VS. Customer service exceptional, but yeah, out of 10 releases, 2 will be good. So Murgy's even lower. He's 20%. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, listen, I would agree. Their customer service, I didn't even mention their customer service. Their customer service is a lot better than fucking Shout Factory. It's a lot, I mean, definitely, right? I like, they put out a good product, but the product itself, like the movie itself, is usually shit. That's what my point is. Nobody packages it better, but you know, it is what it is. Get their asses, Grande. Yeah, sons of bitches. Hey, Donovan Al. RVD's TNA theme is so underrated. No, it's not. That is crazy. No, it is not. I can't take you too seriously. Like Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. You got to shit on Pam? Ain't nobody put Pam in the corner. Nobody. Pam is the best. I love Pam. You ain't shit on Pam tonight. No. Ain't no goddamn way. Oh, I meant false advertising when you accidentally said Barbara Crampton. I'm sorry. I was so deep into the fucking rant that I didn't realize when your comment came in as a part of it. I'm so sorry. Barbara Crampton was in one scene in these 3 movies, so I'm sorry. It was Denise Crosby. This movie came out a year after Chris Dementia was in the cult Stephen King movie. Sometimes They Come Back, which I love that movie. That's Tim Matheson is in that. Robert Russler. That's a really, really, really good Stephen King adaptation, which unfortunately had 2 horrible sequels, right? Sometimes they come back again, and sometimes they come back for more. And sometimes you fucking need to not watch these sequels because they're a bunch of nonsense. Sorry, Trench Congo was mad. Did you see her horror show? No, I haven't. You mean Master Beast Prime? Get out of here with Trench and Grande. Get out of here with Congo. We're not Congo's not a bad movie. It's just not worth $41. That's what I'm saying. OMG, that was sad when I figured out she passed. They take it you don't like. So the Black Christmas, this has become a fucking explain your life. This is now therapy with me. The Black Christmas remake, the first remake. Now, I'm not talking about the Me Too one with a bunch of fucking bitches and no blood and the fucking black ooze and Carrie Elways and fucking All Men Are Evil. Not that one. That one's a fucking horse of turd of a different color. But the Xmas movie, like, there are a lot of people in the community that have, with a straight face, told me Black Xmas is way better than Black Christmas, man. Like, Black Christmas is so boring and I don't know, the humor. And I'm like, I respect your opinions. I do. If you really feel that way, I do. And forgive me what I'm about to. Forgive me for the strong fucking disagreement take I have. Ain't no fucking way that a fucking kid that is yellow because of his liver disease that kills his mother after knocking her up and turns her into fucking Christmas cookies. Ain't no goddamn way is that in the ballpark conversation or fucking dirt on the shoe of Bob Clark's classic epitomal Black Christmas. It wasn't that way in 2006. It's not that way in 2025. It will never be that way. Ain't no goddamn way. To me, if you love the genre, Black Christmas is one of the all-time greats. It truly is. I always say it's the fourth Baba movie that Baba didn't make, right? Blood and Black Lace, Black Sunday, fucking Black Sabbath, Black Christmas. It just sorry, y'all, you're killing me here. It just goes hand in hand with those movies to me. It's like it's the perfect foil to those. And to me, the use of the fucking telephone and the Margot Kidder and fucking Olivia Hussey. I mean, I adore the original Black Christmas. The Black Xmas movie, they just made a dumb slasher movie that for some reason the marks get hard for, and it's not a good movie. It's not. I don't like the Black Christmas 06. It's better than the other remake, but come on. I know people, and I like Glenn Morgan. Glenn Morgan wasn't the problem. Glenn Morgan probably tried to make a good movie. That was a Weinstein fucking thing where it was another thing they decided to dabble their fucking Cheetos cover fingers in and destroy because they wouldn't be them if they didn't. So, I mean, I that's a shame. That movie was ruined. I don't know if it would have been as bad without the fucking Weinstein involvement. Congo, there we go. The Congo in this motherfucker. Apparently VS is putting out full Fulci's Murder Rock, so that's pretty sweet. Totally. Like you said, 2 out of every 10, 3 out of every 10, maybe. Psycho Sisters is good shot on video. Vinegar Syndrome, for example. I agree with you, though. A lot of people blindly buy everything from Vincent puts out. Not sure what the fuck is going on with Arrow this year. Arrow is a mystery, too, because Arrow, towards the end of last year, I was getting so excited. I mean, they were releasing Tomie. They were releasing the J-Horror Rising. They do a lot of the re-releases, but every company does that. They just re-released this in 4K. They just re-released Don't Torture Duckling in 4K. I love those movies. Did they have to be re-released in 4K? I don't know. I mean, if you haven't picked up the Blu-ray, then there it is. But there's no reason to double dip. It's the same version, just a different transfer. There's nothing new on the new, copies other than the transfer. I mean, I know they released the remake and people went crazy for that. They apparently have Jason. They have the New Line ones. They have the Jason X and they have the fucking Jason Goes to Hell. By all means, if that is a really big title for people, and it seemed like it is, the internet popped when they announced Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, on 4K. I hate that movie. I've always hated that movie. I think the movie is the biggest piece of shit of all of them. But hey, if it makes people happy and it sells copies, then that's all that really matters, right? Like, you can have me sitting here on my show in front of however many of you saying I would never buy it. That movie sucks. The fact of the matter is they are already counting their pre-order money, and they are probably going to make a pretty penny on Jason's name. But, of course, he's a worm in that movie, so it is what it is. But I don't know. I mean, Severin, I think, had a really good year last year. I know everyone points to the opera thing with the replacement discs, but they fixed that right. They settled everything correctly. I think they handled that as well as they could have. I think they released a lot of really good stuff. I think Kino has been releasing a lot of good stuff. I got that 4K of April Fool's Day that I can't wait to watch. I've got the Graveyard Shift. I mean, Kino's been doing really well. Vincent is coming off a down year. I don't think Vincent had that good of a year. And then fucking Scream Factory is for the fucking birds. So, I mean, it is what it is. The show was Truth or Scare. She was the host on that. Remember liking it as a kid. I've never seen that. That's interesting. Customer service is fantastic. I know you're a big Criterion guy. I know there's a few people with more Criterions than you. Sleepaway Camp 2 is dope. Haven't seen 3. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 loved the most more than Part 1. That's a first-time name. Arcade Yama. Well, what an introduction. Welcome, Arcade Yama, if I'm saying that right. I would definitely dump on Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. Oh, no! Don't you dump that. Nobody dumps on Pam. People talking. Black Christmas remake I like, and the OG equally. They're both good for different reasons. You get the best of both works. Wow, okay. That's a hot take. Black Christmas is one of those movies that shouldn't have been remade, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I agree. I'm completely with you. Can't fucking touch that movie. That's, to me, it's like, I'm totally with you. And like, then again, TCM, people love that remake too. I never got it. Like, you can't remake it. Oh, we'll have fucking Big Tits. What the fuck's her name? Jessica Biel. We'll have Big Yits Biel and Kemp. The fucking, oh my God, that is and the Bucktooth Kid, and oh God, that horrible. Just don't. I agree. I would never, you can't remake those two. You just can't. You are no longer Grande's moderator. No, she can always be the moderator. That's fine. The 2006 version, you got to admit, had some good kills. I can even admit it had good cinematography. It's just not like for it was really ruined by the Weinsteins. It's not really Glenn Morgan's fault. So I will say that. But the backstory is so batshit. You have some good looking women in there. I don't know. To me, it's just completely, it's like, it almost feels like a scary movie parody to me. It's like, yeah, there's gore in it. There's good looking women in it. There's some pretty lights in it, but that's not what, like, that doesn't make it a good movie to me. It's like, these are good details. These are good icing, but the cake itself tastes like a bunch of shit. One's got classic atmosphere. The other's one's trying to be gross, crazy, and mean as possible. And it worked for me. Both appeal to two different sides of my taste. No need for a third one. Well, I'm with that. There was no need for a third one. Don't Torture Duckling, really? Sorry. Hey, no need to be sorry. If there's any show you want to share your hot take, Grande, I wouldn't be surprised if he took my power. No, never. I thought shitting everywhere was my job. Arrow had so many good releases last year. Yeah, Arrow had a great year. Arrow will figure it out. I'm not worried about Arrow. They're just, I probably just want to make some money right now, and it doesn't make too little of sense there. She stole my gimmick. Yeah, no, they're never going to steal someone's fucking gimmick. Severin is a good company. I agree. Kino's nice. Completely agree. Oh, I fucking hate Part 9 too, but who am I to judge? The remake is my favorite. I'm glad they bought their 4K of the remake. Yeah, listen, again, it sells copies. That's what fucking matters. That's really it, man. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. If it sells, it sells. That's it. I got some sass and attitude, too trendy. Got to wild me up. Oh, my God. We need Peter Jackson's. Oh, my God. That needs to happen. But he announced it in 2017 that he was trying to work on it. It never happened. So it's a disgrace. That's a disgrace that's not out on Blu-ray. I will say this. The Severin 4K of Cemetery Man, which is a movie I do want to talk about because I am Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. And I got it from that movie. That's why I call myself the Cemetery Man. It's because of that movie. I love that movie. I got to review that on a show. That's a review to come. That's a Grande's Graveyard to come. Maybe we'll do Grande's Graveyard horror movies where it's like we'll do a few movies that all take place primarily in a graveyard. That would be one of them for sure. We could imagine if we shot a Grande's Graveyard in an actual graveyard. How fun would that be? Like a live broadcast sitting in a fucking graveyard, or I get arrested like Stone Cold Steve Austin on my own show. Could you imagine that shit, man? That's something we maybe got to try for. Maybe if the producers at Grande's Graveyard gives me a raise. Grande, you're never finishing this stream. Yeah, no, for real. I feel like we've been going on forever. I'm so sorry, but this is fun. This is too fun to cut short. Woo, woo, woo. Duckling is a master. I'm completely with you, man. Or whoa. Duckling's a master. I'm with you, man. Duckling is an absolute fucking masterpiece. Harvey Weinstein messed up a little bit with the editing of Scorsese's Gangs from New York, and if he fucked up a Scorsese film, look what he's going to do to a Glenn Morgan film. Well, you stay in business so they make money. Exactly. Dead Alive is great. I'm still forever waiting for the 4K of that. I hope Merns is right and we do get it, but I wouldn't hold your breath. With that being said, Dolly Dearest, a piece of shit. We come full circle from the comments here. Dolly Dearest stinks. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time. It's an absolute piece of trash. But that concludes our Killer Doll special. This was a lot of fun. Of course, next week we're going to be going to all things Last House on the Left knockoffs, where we'll be discussing several Last House on the Left movies that tried to knock off Last House on the Left, if I get my fucking words out here. We have a lot of them from the 70s, from the 80s, 90s, all fucking gambit here. So I'm very excited to get into next week's show where we talk about Last House on the Left knockoffs. We're going to have a lot of fun next week. And of course, this is the last show of February. In March, we hit number 300. Yes, I'm very excited. There will be a big triple giveaway. I'll produce that video and I'll put it out sometime like early mid-March. So it'll be coming in the next couple weeks. You can enter the contest, and of course we'll have some fun giveaways. We'll bring back the Wheel of Torture, and we'll give away some t-shirts, some moosies, and maybe a cash prize or something. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Last couple comments before we go here. I got to give Cemetery Man another chance. It wasn't what I thought it wouldn't be. And I didn't have a lot of people. I think Matteo was telling me it was the same thing for him. It was marketed a certain way in Italy. He went into it thinking one movie, got another, and it like turned him away. I know a lot of people feel that way, so you're not alone. Don Belleville, man, always good to see Don's name. Here's what I've always said. People are nostalgic for far less good older stuff because newer stuff is lacking slasher-wise. That is completely true. I mean, yeah. Like, it's crazy in a world where when Jason Goes to Hell came out, and when I was even a kid, Jason Goes to Hell was always a unanimous piece of shit, that now all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, this is a big 4K release. So you never know. You're right. People, you never know what you're going to become nostalgic for when the current product is as dry as the Sahara. So I know what you mean. Great show, Grande. Cheers to the Graveyard Fam. Thank you, Birds. I appreciate it. Last House is based on Bergman's Virgin Spring. We will be mentioning that next week. No worries. Great stream, Grande. Thank you so much. Only. Do be like Boss Man, Big Show feud, and hop up on a casket while being dragged around by a car. Oh, Jesus. A good one for the Graveyard Special is One Dark Night. Steel showed it to me. It would be, oh my God, I love One Dark Night. That's a great one. So yeah, no, that is totally one to keep in mind. But everybody, thank you so much. Great stream. Stay frosty. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Bradley. Appreciate that. So everybody, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. Have a good night, everyone. Much peace and love. Thank you so much, followers, home video. I do appreciate that. If you're catching up with the replay, let me know what you think of these 3 Killer Doll films, and we will catch you next time only on the Graveyard. Too sweet peace. Good night, everybody. Have a nice weekend.